Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has just uncovered a group of traitors within our own federal government that are working to undermine the ongoing deportation efforts. Now, as I'm sure you all know, ICE is currently carrying out mass deportations nationwide, but what's currently coming to light is that there are people within our own federal government that are leaking information to not just illegal immigrants, but also to violent cartel gang members as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a lot to talk about. And by the way, we have multiple stories to cover today as well, so hey, if I were you, I'd stick around for the entire video. But okay, first off, let's take a look at what's going on in California.
So Elon Musk is trying to help balance our budget, and apparently Democrats have a huge problem with that, but they don't seem to have a problem with another billionaire, George Soros, and his son, whose money is funding a radio station, a series of radio stations that's been accused of broadcasting live locations, by the way, in Colorado, undercover ICE agents, locations of them.
Did you guys hear that? A series of George Soros-funded radio stations have been live broadcasting the locations of undercover ICE agents. And by the way, ICE is working to enforce our federal immigration laws, so hey, if this isn't treason, I don't know what is. But okay, let's get some more information on all of this.
Here, this is really concerning. So what happened was you had ICE agents undercover doing operations in East San Jose, and part of the town known for violent gang activity, and you had this radio station broadcasting the live location, identifying the unmarked vehicles that they were in, and again, against the backdrop of Democrat leaders in Congress saying it's time for people to take fights to the street against Trump's agenda. So we have sent a letter of inquiry, a formal investigation into that matter, and they have just a matter of days left to respond to that inquiry and explain how this could possibly be consistent with their public interest obligations.
So by the way, the man we just heard from was Trump's new FCC chairman, so he's the guy that has authority and oversight on any illegitimate activity that's going on the radio waves. And now I do want to say real quick, guys, if you enjoy the videos, please consider subscribing because it really does help with my daily struggle against the YouTube algorithm. But okay, now if you guys had to guess, where are these traitorous George Soros-owned radio stations getting their money from? That's right, USAID. Take a look.
In terms of USAID funding, and people are concerned about the spending here, if you want to know motivation, look at this. $377,000 from USAID workers go to Democrats, 12 go to Republicans, and you wonder if there's a political agenda there. At the very least, you have to understand the concern.
Yeah, like when you look at USAID in particular, it has been operating as sort of a money laundering operation for all sorts of radical causes, everything from promoting divisive DEI to actually helping to fund some of the censorship cartel operations that are taking place across the board. So it's very interesting that this is the place where Democrats have decided to go to the ramparts.
So guess what? Not only was our tax money being used by USAID to spread the woke progressive agenda around the world, but it's also been funding radio stations that are now working to protect the cartels. Guys, I have to say, as we continue day by day to peel back the layers of corruption inside of this country, we're all beginning to realize that things have been way worse than we could have ever imagined. However, with that being said, now we are doing something about it. Now that Trump is back in the White House, all of these issues are getting fixed. But okay, now I want you guys to take a look at this other story from just earlier today. Do you guys remember the Tren de Aragua gang members in Aurora, Colorado? Well, Tom Homan and a bunch of ICE agents rolled in earlier today to try to arrest all of them, but guess what happened? A bunch of illegal immigrants took to the streets, blocking off the ICE agents so that all of the Tren de Aragua gang members would have time to run away. And no, I'm not kidding. In fact, take a look.
First of all, if they're shouting and helping these people get away with bullhorns, how is that legal to get help from the people in the streets? I know they can protest, but that's not what they're doing.
You're exactly right. When they come to they cross the line of impediment, and that's why I'm working very close, starting this morning with Department of Justice, and where do they cross that line of impediment? So they may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOJ on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is, but getting DOJ back up on that. So it's something we're looking at right now, Harris. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk. Not only the officers, it puts the aliens at great risk because anything can happen when we take our eyes off the goal here. So we're addressing that immediately today. I'm addressing OPSEC today, operational security, how these leaks are happening. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today.
Did you guys hear that? There was someone inside of the federal government that leaked to ICE's plans to apprehend all of these Tren de Aragua gang members. And so here's the thing, guys. As of just a couple weeks ago, with Trump's executive order, all of these illegal immigrant and cartel gangs are now terminologically terrorist organizations, which means providing assistance to these terrorist organizations carries a very hefty punishment, as far as I can tell, up to 15 years in a federal prison. And so, hey, let me ask you guys a question. All of these radio stations, government leakers, and people clogging up the streets to prevent ICE from detaining cartel gang members, terrorists, would you say that they need to be held accountable? Because between you and me, I sure would. I think that all of these people seeking to undermine the United States of America have just gotten so used to there being no punishments or penalties for this type of behavior that they just have become emboldened, like they can do this stuff and just get away with it. And so, given that's the case, and it very clearly is, I think the only way to really tackle this issue is to be heavy-handed with all of this stuff. A very clear message has to be sent that you don't get to support terrorist organizations and get away with it. You will be punished for doing this. We are a serious country, and we are not going to tolerate this sort of behavior anymore. And then, to top all of that off, as if all of that stuff wasn't bad enough, we have 5 to 10 state governors in our country that have vowed to do everything they possibly can to impede ICE, promising to protect all of the illegal immigrants within their states. And so, hey, once again, this subversive anti-American behavior is in direct violation of not just our federal immigration laws, but also very clearly against the will of the people. In fact, there's a very clear reason why we all just put Trump back in the White House, to put an end to this sort of anti-American nonsense. Now, luckily, on her first day in office, Trump's new Attorney General Pam Bondi said she'd be cutting federal funding from any of these sanctuary cities or sanctuary states that are harboring illegal immigrants and cartel terrorists. So what that means is that all of these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states are going to have to make a choice. What do you value more, illegal immigrants or federal money? And I personally have a feeling that they're going to choose the money. I also have to say, this term sanctuary city is just so freaking ridiculous. These cities have turned out to only be sanctuaries for criminals and gang members. God forbid you want to raise a family or walk down the side of the road when it's dark out and actually feel safe. No, it's not a sanctuary for you, only the criminals. But so I have to say, guys, it's so nice to finally have a president and a cabinet behind him that are willing to actually solve these issues, because as we all know, this stuff has been ignored for so long that our country was pretty much beginning to fall apart. But folks, it seems like those days are behind us, and between you and me, I think that's a good thing. But hey, I think that's all I've got for you guys today with this video, so please make sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Please like the video, but only if you liked it. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the videos. It really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for watching, and of course, as always, stay safe.